How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age, and this is another
Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
Yes, this is Lost Heroes of the Golden Age, and this time we are doing
a human meteor.
Yes, we're doing the human meteor.
One from Harvey Comics.
I am not claiming that this is from Harvey comic books. I go into it in the intro.
The inconsistency of this hero is maddening.
You didn't have to read it. Jeez.
You didn't have to read it either.
If I didn't read it, how was I possibly going to be able to review this guy properly?
Research material, like you've done in the past.
The lack of research material that was actually available for this guy was actually kind of maddening, which is why I had to read them all. This was frustrating. Now, as the voice was saying, yeah, the inconsistency of this character was completely maddening. I mean, there were some things that stayed consistent about his costume through all about the issues, despite the color change and whether or not he was wearing a mask. His costume did keep kind of changing. Some of the stuff stayed the same, the cape, the shorts, the boots. But even that wasn't consistent either, because in two separate issues, he was red, and his stuff was red instead of green. So the inconsistencies of this was completely maddening. If you ever have a chance to read it, it's kind of weird. It's not really superhero. It's kind of technologically based. I would actually say, without this belt that gives him his tremendous powers, he would have no powers except for being a pilot. So, yeah, we're going to call this a technological superhero. Not any real powers. I think he wore his belt consistently, so we didn't get to see what he was like without the belt. But we had a couple of introductory issues of him before the belt, so we could see that he didn't have any powers. Anyway, I get into this in the intro. This is a really... This was kind of maddening to review, to be honest. The intro is kind of lengthy, but there was a lot of things that I wanted to cover about this character before we actually got into this character. It's been a while since I've done a lengthy superhero, so there was a lot to go into on this one. And then we go ahead and we cover the first issue after the introduction to the hero. So sit back and enjoy this one. Thank your lucky stars that you don't have to read it. I went ahead and read it for you. And if you do get the urge, I did list the comics that he's in. And let's go ahead and get this one started. The Human Meteor. The Human Meteor, Duke O'Dowd, first appeared in Champion Comics number 6 in 1940. It says that the original publisher is Harvey and was created by Unknown. There's a number of things about this. I can never find Harvey specifically listed with the publisher of the Human Meteor. At first, the comics that came out in 1940 were done by Worth Publishing. After that, for a while, they would be published by Champ Publications, and I believe after Champ, they would become Family Comics Incorporated, but they never actually specifically said Harvey. Now, there could be some contention for this, because the same editors of Champ Comics were also doing the editing for the Green Hornet. Now, the Green Hornet's publication company was bought by Harvey Comics and became part of Harvey at that point, but they never specifically say that Champs is part of Harvey Comics, even though it's under the... wherever you're trying to find it, it says that. But nowhere on the cover or on the very first page, which tells you about all the information of the publication, published bi-monthly or monthly, the years, where it's located at. It never does say Harvey Comics. So I can't say 100% that it was published by Harvey, since it doesn't say it anywhere. Now, they do say that it was created by the unknown. Now, the first couple of issues do not have any artist names on there, but as you go through, you will find some artists from time to time when it was still, and I'll put a couple of these up so you can see it. It looks like when it was still part of Champion Comics, you have George Apple, I believe, Appel, and Robert Turner. And when it was part of Champ Comics, you have Edwin Wald. And in the very last issue, it looks like Sam GLA something, Glasman or something like that. It's hard to tell, but the artistry of it kind of changes up too with each of these. So I think different people took over for it, because it doesn't look like they had anybody's who. Anyways, the whole thing starts off really weird. I don't think that they had an idea of what they were going to do with him when he first came out, because it wouldn't be until the later issues where he was called the Human Meteor. He actually started off with the publication named after himself, Duke O'Dowd, and he starts off where he's part of the Foreign Legion, and they called him a self-proclaimed soldier of fortune. Now, the first two issues, he would be part of the Foreign Legion, and then in the third issue, this is where he would get his power. He was flying with another pilot, and they got caught into a storm where the co-pilot ended up dying, but Duke O'Dowd, our hero, of course, would survive and then be given a belt that gave him powers. Now, that would be in Champion Comics number 8. Now, the weird thing is, he would finally get the cover feature in Champion Comics number 9, but he wouldn't get, he was the cover for number 8 and 9, but he wouldn't get his first cover story until issue 9, despite being the cover of number 8. Now, I do not have access to all the comics that he is in. It says that he is in issues Champion Comics 6 to 10, and then Champion Comics would be renamed Champ Comics and go from 11 to 25. Now, I do not have access to all the comic books. I have access to Champion comic books. Well, I started with number 2 to 9. I don't have access to number 10. And I can grab 11, but then number 18 and 20 are missing. So I don't have access to 10, 18, and 20. So I can't get those stories. Now, also, the funny thing about his appearance in 8 and 9 is, I should have the covers up here. These are where they show him in the green shorts. I don't like the outfit at all. It's just not right. He is in the green trunks and green cape with the green pants. But in the first issue, where he's not the cover story, he's in this mysterious village where he's wearing something completely different. And in number 9, his outfit is completely red. He won't actually be in green until Champ Comics number 11. Now, could he have been green in Champion Comics number 10? Sure, he could possibly have done that. I cannot find number 10, but I know that he is at least in it in number 11. And number 11 has a cover that is just so wrong, I can't even begin to explain. And then here's the cover of number 12, just to kind of balance it out. featuring Duke O'Dowd, and the Champ, who was the cover feature, has been moved to at least the second feature, Dragon Teeth, Nebula, Liberty Lads, and many others. There were a lot of people in these stories. And I want to get to some of these someday, but I don't believe any of these are Harvey characters because none of them are listed. They're listed with Champ Comics, but Champ Comics isn't called under Harvey. I mean, when it went to Champ for the first time, it was published as Champ Publication. Now, in Champion Comics number 8, we learn how this ancient civilization has been able to harness science to a new level. The scientist, who I believe his name is Wall Lee, says, W-A-H-L-E. He was telling him about a televisor. He's like, I'll tell you later, but look, we have perfected the handling of radium, gamma, and X-rays, and the unending concentrated heat, light, and energy of the sun. We also have controlled atomic force. And he's introducing him to the belt. The Wonder Belt contains an antimatter. Its radium emissions, exploding atoms will rocket you through space. It also holds tiny storage batteries powering an electric energizer that gives you superhuman strength, and to create a contamagnetic field about you that can destroy any metal used against you. Now, they specifically said metal, and it's good because it shows that he is able to repel metal. It makes him essentially bulletproof. And there was one time when they were trying to ram him with a car, but because of this magnetic field, he was able to replace that. Now, the human Meteor did get knocked out from time to time, usually when he was either struck from behind, when he wasn't aware of being struck, which I think he has to use the magnetic field, because they've mentioned that from time to time, and when he was unconscious he couldn't activate it. Also, it didn't repel wood, so if he got struck from behind, he would be susceptible to it, so he couldn't repel wood. Now, the powers that he got from this is he has super strength, a super durable, mainly to metal. Like I said, he could still get struck by things from time to time, but when he used a field, he was super durable. He could fly. Now, that's pretty much the range of his powers. Super strength and the flying, and then the field made him essentially bulletproof, durable to a point. He could stand up to pretty much anything metal. The only kind of reoccurring villain that he got that lasted for a few issues was the giant Kangas Khan, and he tried to use a sword against the human Meteor, and it didn't work because it was metal. Now, the human Meteor's costume would change from time to time. Usually on the covers they showed the same outfit, but in the issues it would sometimes differ. Sometimes he would have gloves, other times he wouldn't. Sometimes he wore a mask, other times he had no mask on at all. He also dabbled between orange hair and blonde hair. Now, that was actually more common in the Golden Age than you might think. Like when I reviewed the Web also went, well, he went from black hair to blonde hair to red hair, but the transition between red and blonde, I don't know if it was someone not paying attention from issue to issue, or if it had something to do with the dyes or the ink. I don't know, but I do know that he changed from red to blonde at times. He also had an assistant named Toby who would help him out from occasions. And Toby, I believe, was an orphan shoeshine boy. Now, issue number 11, I'm going to show you the last panel here. This is when he adopts Toby, essentially. And I really wish that they had worded it better. it seems fine at first, like he's just getting a award, like a lot of heroes back then. But right here, I know I can't take Pop's place, kid. It won't be the same, but I'll try if you'll let me. We'll be together from now on. Gulp. The gulp made this really, really bad. I really wish that they hadn't put the gulp in there. And until that point, it was fine. New adventures for Toby and Duke O'Dowd, the Human Meteor, and next month's Champion Comics. Now, they did list it being in Champion Comics. They kept saying in the next issue of Champion Comics, all the way up until issue 25. At the end of issue 25, they did not say that he would be appearing in Champ Comics. So I think that they knew it was ending in 25, which I'm not entirely sure of that, because there's another story in this comic that says appearing in every issue of Champ Comics, but I don't know if they were specifically saying it would go on. I think that they knew it was ending with 25. Now, as I said, he got most of the cover appearances until the last few, but he was still the featured story. Now, commonly he did wear the green kind of cape, which at times it looked kind of like a shirt the way it was tied around his neck. The green trunks and the green boots, yellow belt. No shirt. It was short shorts. I don't like the creation of the outfit. Toby would change a little bit too. At first, when he started out, he was wearing it would be like a white button-up shirt with blue jeans, and he had blonde hair. But when you got near the end, he would look more kind of what you would look at as a street urchin, but his hair would also go red like it was with the Human Meteor. Now, I did mention the recurring villain of the Giant Gang is Khan. A lot of the times, the Human Meteor fought street-level villains, but a couple of times he would take on Nazis and the Japanese fighting the Axis powers. Now, in the beginning, it looked like he was still in contact with Wally. It was he had a communicator through his watch, like the way Dick Tracy did. But as the series go on, they still mention that the belt was built by Wally, but he doesn't seem to have communications with the ancient civilization anymore. At first they would say, hey, this crime was going on, and he would see it from his televisor. But as it goes on, the Human Meteor found himself needing to be in where he needed to be. His civilian identity was a taxi driver, and he did that on occasions, but as the comics went more and more, he was a taxi driver less. They would still show him being a taxi driver from time to time. Now, in the beginning, they did mention he was a pilot, which I think helped him with his flying abilities, but that's all I really have about the Human Meteor. So let's go ahead and cover the first issue so you could see that they really didn't have the idea for him being who he did when they first started. I have no idea where they were going to go, but he did get the power belt. He started in issue 6, he had the power belt by issue 8, so maybe this was just an extended origin story, maybe not. Maybe they didn't really know where they wanted to go. So let's go ahead and cover the first issue so you can see how he started before he became the shirtless, pantsless, but wearing shorts superhero, the Human Meteor. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. In the beginning, the Human Meteor, he had a gun that he could use to paralyze people. That faded away in the later issues. Also, whenever he was feeling weak, he was able to grab metal to recharge himself, which was also something that you didn't see in the later issues as well. Duke O'Dowd of the Foreign Legion. Hiya, fellas. Brack. I have no idea what that means. Duke O'Dowd, young fighting soldier of fortune, joins the famous Foreign Legion. His happy-go-lucky manner makes him many friends and one enemy, Carl Van Hoend, a bearded bully. So, I guess that they're in the barracks area here. I see beds, so I'm assuming it's the barracks. And Von Hoend trips O'Dowd, and they start throwing punches in the barracks area. I'll kill you for that. I'll rip you apart. Get up and have another face full of fists. So he gets up and they're throwing punches again. In a blind fury, the men fighting are unaware of the approaching officers. Officers, vamoose, cheese it. So the officers restrain both of them, and O'Dowd tells them it's a private matter. So in this next panel, the hard but understanding officers permit the men to settle their differences. They face each other on the parade grounds in the light of the moon. You know, this is a great way to settle differences in the Army. We never actually got to do anything like this, but it would have been a great way to settle differences. I mean, nowadays, if you're throwing punches, you're getting in trouble. You'd probably be written up, possibly losing rank depending on how rank you are, extra duty, lose your weekends for a couple of weeks because of the extra duty. But now this would have been a great way to settle the score. Let two people fight it out. It's over. It's done with. And there you go. So they show a couple of picked panels of them fighting, and O'Dowd wins. Angered by his thorough defeat, Van Hoend promises revenge. I'll get you for this, Yankee. Now, you see, I don't like him here because he's the one who started it, and he got put in his place for it, and now he wants revenge. That's one thing I can't stand about, like, the bully aspect. You're mad because he beat you over a situation that you started. If you start something and then you get put in your place afterwards, you need to have enough grace at least to say, you know what? You got me. I mean, you're getting mad because he beat you over something you started. That I don't like that concept. I don't know how often that happens in real life, but if you're the one who starts something and then you get your ass handed to you, you need to slink away because you messed up. Anyways, O'Dowd's battalion leaves for Godovo, a small town at the edge of the desert. Here, Duke O'Dowd will get his first taste of soldiering at La Legion and the tropical desert heat. Okay, so we see them later at what appears to be a pub. After a strict routine and discipline at base headquarters, the men break loose with laughter, singing, and dancing. Their first night off in the below streets drive in the native quarters. So we see O'Dowd dancing, and then we see the bearded guy of Von Hoend telling this, I guess this local peasant, throw a penny to the legionnaire who dances and he'll buy you a drink. Mercy, thank you. So he throws the penny, and apparently he takes it as an insult. I really don't understand the insult here at all. I really don't know much about the Foreign Legion or their culture, so why throwing a penny at him is an insult, I don't understand. But a gigantic brawl breaks out. I mean, just look at this. The whole place is fighting. The legionnaires and the peasants all over a penny. I mean, come on, guys. It's only 1 cent. It's not worth that much. Anyway, in the heat of the battle, an arm tugs Duke O'Dowd from behind the curtain. So a girl is trying to drag him off and depart the fighting area. And, I mean, she looks pretty hot. I'd follow her. I'm doing you a service. Follow me. I am at your service, Mademoiselle? I don't know French. Okay, so they're walking down the passageway, and she leads them into a room, and she says this is where they can talk. And she slams the door shut, and he seems to be in prison. And for some reason, there's a trap door in the ceiling, and they pour whiskey all over him. Rest well, soldier. In the morning, you will be released. In the morning, I'm due back at the base in an hour. AWOL with this stench on me. So he knocks out this block. I mean, they still allowed him to have his bayonet on him. So he finds this block that's loose in the wall and uses it. He takes it out of the wall and he uses it as a stepping stone to strike the trap door and push it open. So he's able to get out, and then you see the bottle lying there. So now he's sneaking around, and he heard muffled voices from behind a door. I'm trying to speak too fast here. Now he can't hear it just on the outside of the door, so he climbs up to where they have this open area and bars so he can listen to them. And here is here's the whole scheme. The penny trick was good, huh? It made the young Yankee start to fight so that I could get away without being missed. I still don't know why that started a fight. And wait until he shows up at the garrison 8 hours late, reeking with liquor. Von Hohn and the three natives gloat over the success inside the room and the plans you stole for us, Von Hohn. So not only is he trying to get O'Dowd in trouble by showing up late and reeking of whiskey, he'll be in trouble for being AWOL, which is absent without leave. So if he shows up in the morning and he's supposed to be back before then, he will be in trouble for coming back late. And then he'll be smelling of whiskey that they poured on him. So it will look like he was having an all-night bender, which will get you in even more trouble. Now, like I said, I don't know the Foreign Legion, so I don't know their punishments. So I don't know what kind of trouble he would be in. I know if you were in the Army and that, you'd definitely be seeing your first sergeant in the morning, and you don't want to be seeing your first sergeant in the morning. Okay, so as he's listening in, a native comes around. Help, spy, pardon my foot. Desperately, the Legionnaire kicks with his free foot. Oh, I did happen to mention Van Hohn was stealing plans for the enemies. Okay, so he beats down the first guy and takes his weapon. He bursts into where all these criminals are talking with each other, and he shoots Van Hohn, but I don't think he kills him because he's still around. You can't outshoot a Texan, sucker. I really wish you hadn't put that stereotype out there. Yeah, in Texas, we practice quick draws, but we're not always the fastest. Okay. Now's your chance, but the American troubles aren't over yet. The gang rushes the Legionnaire. So he shoots Van Hohn, but in the next panel it shows that he's up and he's charging for the Legionnaire O'Dowd. But he's able to kick all of them off of him. You're not superhuman yet. How did you manage to kick all of them off of you? Okay. He traps him in the corner. Come up, boys. I've got the traitor and some of the spy friends for us to turn in. O'Donnell, I'll read the last few panel. O'Donnell hails a group of legionnaires on their way back to the garrison. Duke O'Dowd is congratulated for his bravery in showing up Carl Van Hohn, who had been selling military secrets to the fighting Arab tribes. Okay. You have done your battalion and your legion a great service. Oh, it was all nice and clean. It was all nice and clean fun. Dude, you've got a warped definition of fun. All right, I hope you enjoyed this one for what it was worth. I hope it was at least entertaining for you. Are you not entertained? Anyways, I'll be back with more videos next week. If you have anything that you want me to review, you can go ahead and put a comment in the comment section. I have gotten a couple of requests that I haven't done because those requests don't quite fit the format. I did answer back to a couple of those. But if there is something that you'd like me to review that comes out of the Golden Age, I will definitely give it a consideration. There's a couple of things that I want to do, but I'm going to have to do a little bit of searching on it. So if there's anything you want to see from the Golden Age, even if it's Marvel or DC, I do the whole range of things. I've done a whole range already. So if you do have something that you want to see, you can go ahead and drop me a request. If not, you can just see what my ADHD-addled brain is going to come up with. Until next time, I'll be seeing you.